Hey Maru, how are you?
Hi, good, good, good. Good morning. Great.
Hi, Maru. How are you?
Very, very good. How are you guys?
Good. So, where are you right now?
El Salvador. El
Yeah, I know
Salvador.
that. But it's
In
like,
This is my home. Beautiful day today. It's a forest back there. It's This is my backyard.
okay, yeah, I hear like the birds tweeting and everything. I see the
Hmm.
sunlight coming in, the morning
Hmm.
sunlight.
Yeah.
Is it, so do you still live on the beach or now do you live at the finca?
Neither. I live
Okay.
in the city. Well,
Okay.
I'm going around a lot. Like the beach, obviously, it's more of a like a weekend getaway place. But the finca is where I'm working most of the time now. So, and it's only like 15-20 minutes away. So it's super
Okay.
close. So I'm between the city and the finca now. Yeah.
So you're in San Salvador, this chaotic capital of El Salvador right now, and those birds are tweeting
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
goddamn Amazon.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Yeah.
know. I know. It's insane. There's still, I mean, San Salvador has that beauty. It still has spots that are super close to the insanity of like the centro,
uh
and it's
huh.
still gorgeous like that. Like, yeah, it's
So are
very,
you
very
like up in
wild.
the hills a little bit?
No, no. I'm
Okay.
like close to all the restaurants you've been to,
Wow.
close to that area. But like close, well, this back part of is El Espino, is actually in a park called El
Okay.
Espino,
All
and we
right.
are like right on the border of that. So maybe that's why
Okay. Yeah.
it
It's like
seems so.
I can't even hear a distant car
I
horn or anything. I
know.
just hear like birds tweeting, and
I
it's like amazing.
know. I know.
Yeah.
I know. It is amazing.
All right. Cool. So now you have a finca,
Oh my
right?
God. Yes, I do. It's insane. Yeah.
In it, where it's called Finca Sylvestris.
Sylvestris, yes,
Phil
and
Sylvestris. Yeah.
it's on the San Salvador volcano.
Okay.
It's on an area, a very beautiful area, because it's between both of the craters the old craters. So the volcano has a very steep point, which is one of the craters, and then there's the other one called El Boquerón, which is the most recent one. They're both ancient, but that's the most recent one. And my finca is right in between those two, so it has this amazing microclimate, which is
Yeah.
that area is already very green and very humid, but where the finca is located is insanely green and fertile and just beautiful. And
No,
it's
I
really, yeah, and it's like almost 1,600 meters above sea level. So it's like almost 800 meters higher than San Salvador, which is
okay.
great. I mean, very
And
cool.
it's only 20 minutes away.
Yes, I know. It's a very steep road up, but you're there. And if you don't have any traffic, you're there in 20 minutes. It's
Wow. And
Amazing.
these volcanoes are not active, if I
no,
remember.
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like they haven't
yeah.
erupted in what, like
You, oh
thousands
my,
of years or?
thousands of years. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
So,
there's a lot of people living there. There's really old coffee farms there, really old, like,
okay.
and actually very good coffee growing there, in that whole area, especially the backside of El Boquerón. It's beautiful, and I was just driving there last weekend, and it's like you can't believe it's El Salvador. It's gorgeous, and it's really good coffee because it's high, it's altitude. Like it's already high.
That's the one
Yeah.
you use in at the
Yes, I
restaurant?
do, but my finca was abandoned for 15 years. So our coffee plants are actually trees that are super tall. And that's like my next project is I need to bring somebody in to see what we can do with that coffee, because I have been harvesting coffee. It's the second year we actually get coffee from those really old plants, and it's really delicious coffee that we think is bourbon, but
Okay.
we're not sure. But there's a lot to do to those plants for them to
Right.
be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
properly, I don't
Like
know, perfect.
productive and
Yeah.
like reach their potential.
Yeah.
Like what does, well, because normally coffee trees are kept quite small, right?
Yeah, quite small, so you can
Like
harvest
bushes.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But these are tall, I don't know, like 5 meters high, 4 or 5 meters
Okay.
high. They're very tall. They were abandoned. They were never, but the beauty of the fact that they were abandoned is that the whole area, the whole land there is
Yeah.
organic as you can get.
Yeah.
Right.
Super wild in many ways. There's a lot of like local forests and plants growing there that are magical. We just found some granadillas the other day, wild granadillas that I had heard about for like a year, and I hadn't seen them grow, and now they're, it's very interesting and very wild.
So what are you doing now? So first of all, how did you find this place between two volcanoes?
Well, I was looking for a small space. Like I wanted two things: a little cabin for my family, but I was also looking for a space for Cocina de Jardin to have our own little like production area, production kitchen, to have our little land to grow our own things. But I was thinking of something small, and I wanted it to be like, I wasn't looking for something built, but
Yeah.
there's actually not a lot being sold up there. So I found this place, and it was a very old wood cabin that was prefab that they brought from Chile,
Okay.
that they wanted to, like, I don't know, sell, so people would buy and they would put them on their piece of land. I guess that didn't work out, and it was just abandoned for many, many years. But the cabin is gorgeous, and the cabin is actually sitting on a rock foundation, which is like a hole,
Okay.
like a cave.
Yeah.
And that's where I imagined I could create this kitchen for Cocina de Jardin. And then it's sitting on a little hill. It's actually only 1 acre. 1 acre. It's not big, but since it's a hill, it feels like you can get lost there. It's so beautiful. And then it has all the coffee forest. I want to call it a forest because they're trees. And then there's one little space that was barren. And I thought, okay, so this would be perfect for our edible garden. And this was 1.5 years ago, and we started working on that since then. And now we're finally almost done. I mean, the kitchen's done. We've been it's our 5th event there. We've been cooking there for, we've been doing 5 events already, but there's still things that we need to work on. The edible garden is still like an experiment, to say the least, because I'm not a gardener and I'm learning, but it's going, and we've actually fed a lot of people from our garden already, like a lot.
What are you growing?
Okay, so we just finished our pea harvest. We've had green beans. We have this really amazing bean called frijol gandul, which is super amazing because it's actually a tree bean. It's not like it's not like
like a pole bean or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It grows on a tree, and it's usually used to fix nitrate back into the soil. To really, like, tired soils, they plant these beans there, but they're actually delicious and so nutritious, and they grow amazingly here. They're very small and black, and the taste is almost like chocolate. It's so intense, and wow, they're amazing. So we have a lot of that. We have quelite, which is almost like it's a spinach, a very nutritious green. We have lemongrass. We have a bunch of flowers. We have all types of herbs. And then we have a bunch of avocado trees that were already there, very small, like heirloom.
Creole,
Creole, like old, very, very delicious.
Like with the soft skin, or
no.
Okay.
Oh, wow, I wish.
Okay.
I love those. They're so anisey. No, these are actually very small, round, and they don't have a lot of flesh, but the flesh is so buttery. You couldn't believe it. They're delicious. And then now I'm experimenting with eggplant and with tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, garlic, anything that grows. And the land is so fertile that, I mean, wow. It's so fertile that everything grows. Like, even
right. No, I imagine
kinds,
with that volcanic soil, like whatever you plant is going to grow as long as it can survive.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get cold, right?
It does get cold.
Okay.
I mean, it can go down to like 12, 13 degrees, which is pretty chilly for El Salvador. And it gets really humid every night. So, for example, my tomatoes have not been very happy. They don't. So I'm thinking of maybe moving them into like an enclosed part because they're not very happy. Yeah. It can get pretty cold. The coldest day I've been there was in August, which is one of our hottest months. It's
Okay.
weird because it's just condensation is every afternoon at 5, like you're inside a cloud. It's a microclimate. It's very, very beautiful, very weird.
What
Very
about
cool.
aromatic herbs? Do you
Yes,
have
we
them?
do. We have dill, we have fennel, we have basils, we have all kinds of mints. We have parsley, we have sage, a lot of things. Everything we've planted is growing. We have strawberries. We have wild
Paradise.
peaches, which are very
Huh?
small wild peaches. So it's been amazing because this was really not a plan. I mean, like it ended up being like the best idea ever because I mean, Cocina de Jardin has always been this project that really wants to promote like caring for our earth and for our nature, and that's like I wanted the reason why it exists is because of that, you know. So when this happened, it was like, oh my god, like this makes so much sense because the base of Cocina de Jardin now I can actually take care of it too,
Right.
you know. So it's been a little bit on the flip side of creating things because now we're creating the base of it, but it's been really magical.
But you're still, supporting local
Yes,
farms and,
yes.
artisan fishermen and all
Exactly.
of these things. It's just now
Yeah.
you have this core to
Yeah.
build around it. Okay.
That's the most magical part of it. Since the beginning, when I understood the land that we were buying, I was like, this is kind of perfect because the producers that I work with are at a different altitude, elevation
Yeah.
than we are. So they grow very different things.
Right.
So I've been working with them actually. Like they know what I'm doing. They've come to our lands. Like we're working together to grow things that they don't grow. And I've actually told them, like, if you guys ever want to experiment in my piece of land, like, and I think we're gonna do really cool things. They're all really experimental as well. Very young, they have really open minds about what we can grow in this country, which is, we love all the things that we're used to growing here that we know grow really well, but there's so many things that are new that grow really well that can really add to our nutritional value to the country, you know. So it's exciting.
Like, when I think of El Salvador and just my experience with it, it's just like it's such a small country. Like,
So small.
that's obvious. It's pretty tiny. You can kind of drive anywhere within like an hour from San Salvador.
Yeah.
But it has so many microclimates within that space, and plus it has this like fairly long Pacific coastline. It
Yeah.
has mountain lakes.
Yeah.
Were you exposed to this kind of biodiversity growing up?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I mean, here, even during the Civil War, I mean, like we would go down to the ocean, to the lake, to everywhere. I mean, and I think that's what's funny about Salvadorians is that we've lived here and we've enjoyed our country in every situation, even during like the worst storm or the earthquakes or the Civil War. I mean, people do go around. It's so small that it's so close by. I mean, it's only an hour away. So ever since I was little, like I've been going to all of these places. Really not, I don't think I appreciated so much, like
Yeah.
all that we have. And you're always looking outside of your country, always, especially if you have the privilege of being able to travel. But every time I travel, I'm always thinking like, oh my God, we are so rich. We are so rich. I mean, I was in Denmark 2 years ago, and there was so much there happening. They're so creative because they don't have so much, they're always growing different things. The whole time I'm like, I have 5 types of mangoes growing in my backyard, and they're there,
Yeah.
they're just there, and avocados and plantains, and wow, we're so rich, we are. Yeah.
What about like through food? Was this kind of diversity taken advantage of, like growing up, or no?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think when you're on survival mode, and I think this country was on survival mode for so many years,
Yeah.
food was just survival,
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the reason why El Salvador doesn't have such a big up to now it hasn't had such a big like food scene, because before it was just, we just need to eat. Like, people were not thinking of like, let's make this super delicious and super fancy and like, let's make this a pleasure. It was more of a survival part of your day, you know? So I think that's the reason why, yeah, we didn't take so much advantage of it. However, there is a lot of knowledge of plants. I mean, people do, like in the country, the countryside, people do know like all the roots that you can eat, all the stems, all the flowers, like, because because that's all they had for so many years, that they do know, you know. In the city, I don't think we explored that much, and that's what I'm so excited about. Like, that's what I'm doing every day, is like, not even just old knowledge, but just my instinct of saying, okay, we can eat so many parts of all the plants and reduce waste and up nutrition, and you know. But I do think that's something that people like out in the countryside do know about. And every time I talk to, for example, the guy that lives on my finca, and when I bought the land, I asked him to stay with us, and he is 74. He is so knowledgeable, and he knows so much about plants and seeds and flowers, and for him it's normal, you know. It's like he lives off the land, he knows everything. Yeah, very cool.
Was the food very meat heavy when
Yes.
growing up? Okay.
Yeah. In my case, I'm Salvadoran, but my mom is Cuban, and my dad is
Okay.
Salvadoran, but he grew up in Peru. And
Oh.
they actually met in Peru, my mom and dad, which is so
Oh.
weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that
So,
happen? Like.
because both of my grandparents, my mom left Cuba, went to Miami in 59, and then they transferred my grandfather to Lima.
Okay.
And then my dad's dad was working there in Lima, so they met there. My parents met there. They lived there for many, many years, all of their young adult life. And then they got married and came to El Salvador. So they learned how to cook in Peru, and my
Oh.
mom knew Cuban food, you know. So I grew up with a combination of Peruvian Cuban food, which is very
Okay.
strange and very
Yeah.
magical. But
In
with
El
a lot of
Salvador.
Salvadoran ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not grow with tortillas in my house. I did
Okay.
not grow with like your regular beans. I mean, we used to have Cuban beans, which are dark, sweet, garlicky, super different with cumin, you know. And yeah, it was very meat heavy, and that's the reason why I became a vegetarian very young, because I was like, my house was actually maybe like a block and a half away from El Rastro, which is the place where cows get slaughtered for
Okay.
meat.
Slaughterhouse. Yeah.
And I would hear them every morning when I
Oh
was
my
taking a
God.
shower before going to school, and I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "I can't believe it." And I found out what it was, and then I was like, "I can't. I'm an animal lover. I can't." And I started cooking for myself at 16. And yeah, my house was basically meats, potatoes, rice, and bread. I mean, that was like not a lot of vegetables. And I started buying vegetables and introducing them into my house. And my parents were like, why? Why? This is delicious. And I was like, well, I like vegetables a lot more. And it's so complex. Yeah.
How old were you when you were?
16.
Okay.
So I was making my own lunch boxes, and I remember going to school, and all of my friends were like, "I want to try your lunchbox.
Okay.
That looks delicious." Yeah,
So that was how you learned to cook. You wanted to become a vegetarian. You had no basis for it, and you just started cooking
yeah.
vegetables.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. And my mom is actually a very good cook in her very Cuban Peruvian way. But I think that that sazon comes from her. I mean, because I remember cooking with her all the time, her kind of food, and it's still in me. Like Peru is the most magical combination of flavors. And Cuba is very hearty, very simple but very hearty food. So I think that's where I got like my taste from, and then I
Okay.
combined that with vegetables, which is so weird, but that's what I cook.
Okay. But how did that progress? Because you were a psychologist for a long time, right?
Yes. I actually
Okay.
studied psychology, and I owned an indoor playground slash like a wellness center for kids for 10 years.
Uh-huh.
It was
So that
such
that was what you did. You had a indoor playground wellness center,
yeah,
and it was
yeah,
kids playing, but you're
yeah,
also thinking of their health and things
yeah.
like that because you were feeding them.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was feeding them, and it was more of a wellness center. I want to call it because we worked with parents, we worked with the kids, but it was a very holistic little tiny place where we served our own food. We cooked everything. Everything was organic. Everything was super healthy. We had yoga classes, we had cooking classes, art. We had reading, and it was all based on Montessori and positive discipline. So it was very I wanted to share with other people the way I was raising my kids. That's really the reason why I opened that space because I was like, every time I was around my kids and other kids, I was like, this is so simple. Like, kids don't need anything more than just wood toys and like nature, really. So that's what I opened. That's really what I did. And I had that for 10 years and it was amazing. It was really all around wellness for parents, for kids. And we were cooking a lot. We were cooking every week, and it was magical to cook with kids and to let them know we were growing things in the garden as well, and that was great. But then the pandemic hit, and I was closed for a year, and I had already been invited to cook at many different places for different reasons for like 3 years before the 2020. Restaurant, this country, Nicholas, you know how small it is, so everybody knows everybody, and
Yeah.
I had always been such a foodie and such a cook that people found out, like restaurant owners found out, and they were like, Maru, like, we're interested in your point of view, like, would you come and like help us, like. And I was like, okay, of course I would love to share that, and so that was parallel, like, to the end of the wellness center. So when we closed, that was the first time I thought, like, maybe now that I have time, let's see what happens if I like started pop up, just like, let's make one event, like create one event, and let's see what happens. And that first event was with my favorite food, like the most simple, delicious food I could think of that I would love. And we served it family style, like the way we still do. We served it family style, 30 people, everything in the middle, strangers sitting around a table, and just enjoying like vegetables and really and food that I could tell them exactly where it was coming from. They were like, I can't, like, we did serve fish that day. And I work with this really cool, open-minded guy that goes down to La Libertad, and he's actually been molding the people who are fishing to understand how sustainability is so important. And so it was all made sense. I was like, I have all the elements I need to be able to share my mind with a lot of people. And so that first event was such a success. People were like so happy. The music was like, it was such a mindful, beautiful, positive moment that I was like, we can do this like every week. Let's see what happens. And we
Okay.
haven't stopped ever since.
Okay. So it's just been event after event. Just
Yeah.
do you has it been mostly like catering, or is it more like
No.
you just holding pop-ups? Like,
Yeah, well,
okay.
we actually don't cater.
Okay.
We actually don't. The whole point of Cocina de Jardin is for people to be really involved in everything we are doing. So we're cooking there live, So it's not like there's a lot of prep that we do for 2 days before going there, definitely. But then we go there, we take our kitchens, like our camping kitchens or a grill, and we set up a whole kitchen and a whole family style table, and we are cooking there live. We're not bringing things that are cooked already, we are assembling everything there. And people come up to us, they ask us many times. What we love to do the most is to bring these events to the land of our producers. And that's the most beautiful part. All of our clients come to where they're growing the most beautiful produce, and we have the producers there sitting at the table speaking and talking about what they do, and it's like closing that beautiful circle between like the land, the producers, the kitchen, and the
And the
clients.
consumer, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So there's always been this educational
Yeah,
aspect of it.
yeah,
That's always been important.
that's my psychology part, I think.
Yeah, I
Coming
wanted to
into
ask you
play.
about that,
Yeah, because
like
and
how that
yes,
plays a
and I,
part in
I
it.
think it's a very important part of Cocina de Jardin. And as you can tell, Cocina de Jardin has been growing organically in a very fast pace, but it had never a plan. But now that I look back, I'm like, okay, I understand what I'm doing. Like, and every time I'm getting more educated, like I I, I want to, I really want to send this message. I do. Like it used to be more of a like my vibe. I want people to feel my vibe, but now it's like no, I want people to really understand like where everything comes from and how much if they love this, we need to take care of it, and we need to support these growers. And if it's a bit more expensive, it's because of all of this that they're doing, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, but it's pretty amazing that you're like physically connecting people with where their food comes
Yeah,
from
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
and each
And
of these events.
yeah, and you have no idea the response. I mean, every time we do it, I'm like, this is the reason why we're doing it. I totally understand. Like, people need to know, and they respond so well. Like, you have no idea. I mean, and they understand, how much this matters. And what's been happening is that these producers are actually getting a lot of response from our clients. Like now they want to buy these products, and that's making them uh, be better at farming and be better at what they do. Of course, people. So it's. I think that for 5 years now we've been sort of growing this little community of people who really understand what it is to live a slower pace of life because we're intentionally wanting to be present and to be careful of what we do on this earth, and that's kind of amazing. I mean,
But
yeah.
it's an interesting combination because yes, you are like there is this ethical statement and a lot of thought put on your cooking and the food and how is it grows,
Yeah.
and you have been more intentional about it. You yourself have rationalized it, but at the same time I think in the end it's so effective because it comes with this natural connection you seem to have, seems very early on, and also the joy of it. It has to be delicious, and
Oh my god.
it's just this aura and energy in the end that I think it captures. It's just a great recipe,
Yeah.
these two things together that are always not the case. Maybe it's some people are more like heavy on the message and a lot of thought, but maybe there is that energy lacking, that charm. And then you cannot just have the charm all over the place without, okay, there is a
Uh-huh.
point here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it seems to be
Yeah, I
working.
love that you point that out because it's true. I mean, I enjoy this so much. It's insane. Like,
Mm,
and I feel that when you're really enjoying yourself and when you really truly feel it in every
yeah,
cell of your body,
it's effective. Yeah,
it's effective. Yeah,
yeah,
and doing both
powerful.
things. I mean, sending a message that can be that powerful and
Mm,
enjoying it while you do it, it's kind of magical. It is.
yeah.
And I am so grateful. Believe me, every morning I wake up, I'm like, I understand. Like, I understand what's happening. And I'm very grateful. And
Yeah, and in relation with that, I was seeing one of the videos you mentioned some my dishes and my way of presenting and cooking and the energy is very feminine, and some people have pointed that out that I myself identify with that. And I have seen, well, in that interview you say men, but I'm guessing it happens too with other people. um, they are not intimidated, but they are is so beautiful that they are like, how do I eat this. It's not this piece of meat that I'm supposed to attack and just consume. And they are almost like, wow, this is,
Yeah.
I'm not delicate enough, or I'm not,
Yeah.
and your response to that, or like, just do it and, enjoy. I found that very interesting too, like how,
And it's the truth. And I have to admit that there was a moment where I was like, maybe I should make my food more masculine. Like I really, it made me doubt, because I was like, and then I was like, you know what? No,
yeah,
like, this is me. And I know that when they try it, they're going to be like, wow, like it blows your mind, because it is so beautiful, but nature is so beautiful.
yeah,
And I think
so
it's,
complete.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly. And I think, I mean, the reason why I think my food is so not the reason, but the beauty of feminine food, I think, is that it's a
Mm.
nurturing moment. And
Yeah.
for me, when you eat, that's what we're doing, like,
Yeah.
and that's, I don't know, in my mind, that's very feminine,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
instinct,
Amazing.
to mother and to but yeah.
Huh.
So, huh. I'm trying. What is masculine food then? It's like just lots of meat, or
No, I don't know meat,
Sorry.
but I think that um, it's my food is very sensitive, in the sense that, for example, people are always asking me, like, how do you create your menus? And I'm like, first I ask what's fresh, and I get like really fresh ingredients, what we have this week, producers and everything, and then I get in touch with the place and the moment where we're going to be cooking, and that's how I create my menu. So it's really sensitive instinct, like,
wait, okay, wait. Let's slow that down. There's a lot there, a lot to unpack there. So, how do you get in touch with the place? Like step by step, like literally, like walk us through it, because I think that's fascinating and really important.
well, I mean, usually, well, I'm always getting in touch with places where I want to cook, because I want people to see those places. Like, most of the time, it's like, okay, for example, Jardín Botánico, which is a public botanical garden here in the city. We cooked there last year, and I was like, it would be so cool to cook there, because people don't ever go there, and it's so green and it's so beautiful. And okay, so we went there, and I asked, and they're like, okay, you can cook here. You can't actually bring fire, but you can cook and you can set up a
Okay.
table and everything. So I went there and I walked through the place, and I was like, getting the feel of, like, how are we going to do this, like, how are we really going to get people connected to this place? And that menu was so much fun, because it was one of the most playful ones we've had. We actually deconstructed a lot of our dishes. I mean, so people would actually assemble them themselves on the plate, because we wanted it to be even slower than usual. I mean, our food is slow, but this was even slower, because they had to sit down, look at the elements, and then build their own, and the whole idea was for them to actually look around, understand where things were coming from. And so the playful part of it came from that very educational, natural space. I don't know if you understand sort
Yeah,
of my
yeah,
train
yeah,
of thought.
yeah.
So that's how that menu ended up being,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What about like in a more wild space, like in a
Uh-huh.
producer's, on a farm or something?
Yeah, on a farm. Okay, for example, Tatlan, which
Uh-huh.
is one of the wilder places we cook at. We've cooked there many times. We love it, and it's very fertile soil, so they are always changing what they have. Like, they never have the same things. There are other places where we've cooked that I know what we're going to cook with, because they only grow a couple things, but this guy, he grows things, different things all the time. So the whole menu is disjointed in such a a, harmonious way. I don't know how to explain it, because
Yeah.
I tried to showcase everything he's growing in a way that people actually try it, and we actually walk down, we go down, they harvest a lot of the things that he's growing, we walk down the hills and everything, and then they come back, and that place really inspired us to start creating these really dynamic menus where we would serve like 5 dishes at one time, 5 dishes that are super different, but that if you put them on your plate, they'll go deliciously together. But if I would serve them one by one by one by one, they wouldn't really make such a statement. But when we serve them all together, five of them, really complex dishes, I mean,
Yeah.
they work really well. And that vibe came from that place. I mean, because I was like, I need to put all of this on the table. Like, it can't be just five steps of like five courses where people are going to eat one and forget what they just had. No, they have to eat it together, you know? And so in that format, we are actually serving three courses, a very small, light course. Then the second course has maybe like five dishes and then dessert. But it's
Okay.
a very long, slow meal, but in a very different format. And that came from that place. I mean, because it was inspired by that, you know?
So there's a lot happening like the day of, like,
So much. The 2 days. I mean, we cook for 2 days. Well, three. One day we harvest, then we start the prepping, and then the day of we're cooking all day, and then improvising always at the end. There's always something changing that day. We're like, no, this herb, we didn't see that. We have to add it now, you know. So yeah, it's been very crazy. And now that I think about your question, it's been interesting because in Finca Sylvestris, since that is a more controlled environment for myself, we've been actually re-cooking the same menu for
Okay.
and that was actually super interesting too. I mean, because people were like, I want to try that Finca Sylvestris menu, and I was like, we've never repeated a menu, but let's see what happens, you know. And then we repeated it for one time, like a second time, and it was more delicious. And then we repeated it the week after, and it was more delicious. And we did that for 4 events, and I was like, I like this too. Like, this is very fun, you know. But now we stopped, and now we started a new menu that we're going to repeat for 4 events and see what happens. I mean,
the events are how often? Like once a week or
twice? No, yeah, once a week, definitely. But at the finca, we're trying to cook there twice a month.
Okay.
So we also can cook everywhere else the rest of the month.
All right. So, but the finca is now the kind of permanent home. Like it's almost a restaurant in some sense.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if you go there, you'll be like, why aren't you open every week? You should be here every week. And a lot of people ask us that, but I love to be nomadic. I love to explore. We love that thrill of going places and taking people to other places. Like we get that thrill as much as the people get it, you know? So yeah, the finca's amazing and we love it, but we also love to be out and about all the time.
Okay.
This Thursday, for example, we're going to be cooking here in the city at a bar, a very urban bar, but we bring our whole natural experience and we recreate our events in the city. So we are going to be cooking outside with our own tables, like family style. We bring all kinds of plants and we decorate with everything as if you were at La Finca or Utatlan or anywhere else, but you're in the city. We also love to do that.
Okay.
And who makes part of your team? How do you complement each other? Because there is this
so we are we're 3 cooks. We're 3 girls, Laura and Adri, and we're the ones that are prepping everything, cooking everything for the whole time. And then we have 2 or 3 waiters. We have 2 like constant waiters, and then we have a third one that if we need, we'll call. And then we have this lady that washes the dishes, and we bring everybody every time wherever we go. We're all going, you know, and we're already so in sync. And they have other jobs. I mean, but they love what they do with us. You know, so yeah, that's basically the
very
team.
cool.
Very cool.
Well, about the feminine, masculine thing, I like to say it's not that men cook masculine food and women, you know. I think it's I mean, it's an open conversation, but I was thinking it has to do with the range of delicacy, flavors, colors, the complexity of it. Maybe you can cook, you know, you can approach the same vegetable in a simpler way with a amazing technique, but maybe not as much as complexity. And then if you combine all those vegetables with others, and then this spectrum of aesthetic,
Yeah.
I think it has to do with that too, and how that it's representing what happens in nature. Because of course, a piece of meat is nourishing, but it's in a different way. The message gets to you, comes to you in a different way.
When I think of masculine food, I just think of heavy food. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe that's just me. I think of like meat and potatoes. I think of
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
with a lot of calories, but not necessarily a lot of nutrients or
Yeah.
anything like that. Just heaviness.
Yeah,
And like
but
men want to be
No.
filled. It seems like I always see like with tasting menus. I've always heard so many like people that are just not so into food that they just want. They complain that it's just like little bites or something like that. It doesn't matter like how beautiful this like these leaves and vegetables are and how like rich they are and so many different things that your body needs.
Yeah.
It's just they want to be filled and like bleh, and feel like after like in the worst
Yeah.
possible way.
yeah, and you know what? I feel and o sea, the reason why I said that has nothing to do with like machismo or feminism or
No, I
anything.
know, I
It's
know.
zero,
But-
zero. Like I don't think like that. But I do think that society plays a very big role in the way we eat. And men, I mean, have been taught to work, eat, and work.
Yeah.
It's so they don't stop so much like to really enjoy, and that's maybe where my comment comes from in the sense that I've had men come to like, okay, I just want to sit, eat, and go, and I'm like, wait, look at this, look at it's so beautiful, like please, and it's okay if it's feminine, you can mess it up and eat it, and it's fine,
Yeah.
But I think it comes from that. I feel sadly for men, I feel like and that's the whole point of inviting men to really enjoy like my type of food, for example, is that slow down, like it's okay to like enjoy your food, you don't just have to eat.
Yeah. No, I totally think men feel
It's
that
not
way.
girly or anything. That's like when I love to see a guy walking by eating an ice cream, a cone by himself, which is good for you. That's not girly. Or there are so this.
Why would that be girly though? Ice cream cone? What?
Many guys feel that that's like even dessert. They feel that it's like girly.
A girly thing.
Huh.
Many. I mean, you.
This
You
has to be a
wouldn't believe-
Colombian
You
thing.
wouldn't
Like
believe so
it's
much.
like
No, you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't
okay.
believe. There are many. It's like, oh no, I don't do that. That's too girly for me. They don't say it that way, but
Okay.
But yeah, no, and also I think the industry is, I mean, very men oriented. I mean, I've worked and met with many people in like professional restaurants, and they're all men. I mean, they're all men, and they're amazing, super talented, super hardworking, super creative. But it's just the way it's been. I mean, and I also think that women, I mean, with the women that I've worked with chefs, girls, it's such a different experience. Such a different experience. I mean, they're as hardworking, as creative, as, I mean, but there's a little something that is just, that comes from here, which is different, and it just feels that way. And I love the fact that people are embracing women in kitchens a lot more because, I mean, we bring something different. I mean,
yeah,
I don't want to be,
Let me show you my way. It's that. Just
and
there
it'll
are
be
different ways, many ways. This is
many
one.
ways. Yeah,
No, I think we need that
yeah,
femininity in the world. It's so masculine. Like right now, everything political going on, it's just so violent all the time,
violent.
and like
Yeah,
it's I don't know, like it's I don't even want to get into it all, but it's just like.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, like slow down, everyone.
yeah.
Like
no,
chill
yeah.
out.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Go, like I'm sure. Like you should have politicians and things at your events. Like I think you could
Well,
heal the world
you'd
if
be-
they just sit down and ate.
Yeah, and slow
Yeah.
down and enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you know how our food, like Cocina de Jardin, the project, attracts a lot of artists, and not politicians, sadly, but a lot of artists. And it's like something, I don't know, I guess it has something to do with the way we I don't know, but it does attract a lot of artists, and it's been amazing because we've we've created these bonds with artists, and Cocina Jardin and art in El Salvador is super related. I mean, we've been invited to so many expos to cook for a lot of artists, to cook for La Fábrica, which is a hub for artists. It's been weird how, I mean, and there's always at least 3 or 4 artists at our table all the time, men or women. I mean, you know, and it's weird. I mean, something I was thinking about. Yeah, not politicians, but artists, definitely. Very cool. I love when our food combines with art, the art world. I love it. Very cool.
Yeah, such a long way to get there, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I think it's a super interesting moment for El Salvador.
So,
Just because, like, the security situation, just from when was I there last? Last year, maybe, or the year before? I don't know, but it's totally changed, like drastically changed in a very apparent way.
yeah.
You know how that was done is, you know, obviously lots of questions. But how has that security situation changed life in the country?
Oh my God. You have no idea. I mean, speaking of how we grew up with eating as just a process of like survival, now finally we are entering that time of like pleasure. Like El Salvador has never had that, you know, even in terms of service. People are really, in terms of service, food, tourism. I mean, it used to be more like, you know, let's just live. But now I mean, we're flourishing in such a beautiful, like pleasurable way. I mean, pleasure now is a thing that we're all talking about, and we're actually asking for, like, I want this experience to be more. I want this to be more, you know, like, and that I think elevates service, gastronomy, tourism. It elevates existence, really, because I
Yeah.
mean, if we have our safety covered and our food covered, then let's explore pleasure, you know. And I think it's the first time we've ever experienced that, and it's wow, it's amazing. I mean, I every time I talk to somebody, the way people are vibing is just a very creative vibe, you know, because now we're being able to be just creative for the fun of being creative.
Yeah.
We used to be creative because we had to survive. Now it's like we want to be a better restaurant, we want to be a better I don't know, like creative. I want to be a better designer. I want to be, just because we can. We have the time. We have the tranquility. You know, we have the peace inside to be able to go to that other level of existence, which is very weird and very beautiful. And I hope it lasts. And I do think that people are really taking advantage of this moment in such a big way. So very beautiful things are coming, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel that. Like, the
Yeah.
last time I was there, I definitely felt that. And I don't think it was just, you know, just wealthy people either or anything. It was like it was widespread everywhere, all walks
Yeah.
of life,
Yeah.
getting out of, you know, this fear that people have lived with for so long. And like, you can sense that in the intermingling, you know?
Yeah.
It's quite cool to see. And, you know, like, I don't know. I think I've experienced this in different ways over the last 20 years in other places too, like in Peru and Colombia as well, where, you know, security situations have changed, economies developed pretty rapidly. And I think it means a lot of things. And like a lot of things are happening in the background that not everyone even realizes. And I think both good and bad things too. And I think
Yeah.
that's what also needs to be considered. Like there's all this
Yeah.
land being bought and sold. There's
No,
all this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
infrastructure being developed, and
there's so many like empty projects being sold too, you know. So
Okay.
I think this is really a big opportunity for people like me who really care and understand to sell things that are
Yeah.
valuable,
Right.
that are educating, they're
Right.
more, because right now people are buying everything, like
Yeah.
anything you give them,
Right.
any experience, people will go to. Every restaurant is full. Every you have no idea, like I've never seen, everything's happening, everything, which is amazing. But let's be conscious of what we're delivering, you know. Let's
Yeah.
please, you know, let's not give them empty things, because
Right.
they'll take it. They'll take everything right now.
No,
Yeah.
totally. Like, yeah, it's like it's more important than ever to like use that voice to build amazing things. I think we lost Julie somehow. I don't know what happened, but she'll come back in probably.
Okay.
Not sure. Okay, but
Yeah.
all right. So what about like food systems in El Salvador? Do you think it's moving in a positive direction? Like, just why I bring that up is, from my experience, like Peru, Colombia, South American countries that have kind of been in that similar moment, even though there's all this awareness about biodiversity and, you know, agricultural diversity and all these things, it was also the moment when supermarkets expanded like wildly, and it shifted the way people ate, and like consolidated the ingredients, even as there was this, you know, contrasting idea of how much we had. I don't know, but El Salvador is super distinct though, because you have lived through things that have been disrupted so much.
And we've
Yeah,
already
So,
yeah, and we
yeah.
already went through that like big supermarket kind of thing.
Okay.
It's weird because
Yeah.
I always think about this, and I'm always like super like conflicted, because, for example, a lot of our vegetables come from Guatemala. Most
Okay.
of our vegetables come from Guatemala. And so one part of me is like, oh my God, it's not Salvadorian, it's from Guatemala, you know. But then I think, we're so tiny. I mean, Central America is tiny. If it
Yeah.
comes from Guatemala, it's still local.
Yeah.
It's still local. I mean,
Right.
it's not, and I mean, it's really cheap, really good cheap vegetables that come from Guatemala, and they have the infrastructure, they have the knowledge to grow them. We've never had a lot of vegetables. Way back when, we used to have maybe in the higher parts of the mountain, tomatoes and lettuces, but not that much. And then we've always had coffee, we've had sugarcane, we've had obviously corn, you know, and beans. But I mean, like special
Yeah, it's been
vegetables.
more industrial products, you know. And,
So, and I think like, and I was thinking about this exact like thing the other day, and I was thinking like, even if it's from Guatemala, I mean, let's ask for really good stuff. But I mean, Guatemala is still local. I mean, it's, you know, it's Central America, even Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua. I mean, we're so close. We're so tiny. You know, it should be okay to feel okay to be buying stuff from, you know, because it's really, they have the land. We don't really, I mean, have that extension and that, you know. But I do, coming back to my small growers, for example, I do think that they are super conscious of this moment. And I do think that people are really conscious of this moment. I mean, there's a lot of like small farmers markets happening that did not used to be happening. There's a lot, people are really like, a lot of really small producers like getting hip and getting like into, like, they have to, is the only way they'll sell, you know. And I do think it's happening, obviously to a very small scale, but our scale is tiny anyways, you know.
Right. No, but I mean, it's why you can have a big impact. Just, you know, how many people have been to your dinners?
What do you mean?
Like, do you have any idea of how many people have come to Cocina de Jardin?
Well, we've been, okay, let's do the math. I mean, we work with between 24 and 30 people every event. Okay. And we've been, I mean, almost every week for the past 5 years. Okay. You know, so a lot of people. Yeah. About
tens of thousands, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that's
Yeah.
the math in my head right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
that's a big impact.
that's, and you know what, and now I'm really feeling it right now lately. I mean, there's a lot of people like from the media getting in contact with Cocina de Jardin, and that's so new. Like Canal 10, I don't know if you've seen it, Fernal Diaz. It's this program about like local food. I'm going to send it to you. It's
Okay, cool.
actually beautifully
All right.
made. Yeah, so we're on that. This local paper also wrote about us. I mean, people are super interested. I'm like, this is so cool. I mean, like, I want to people to know what we're doing. I do. That's the reason why I take the time every dinner to explain every ingredient. But if we can do this and have more people know about what we do, and let this be so contagious that it'll be like a thing, I think I'd love that. Like, I want that to happen. It's because it's not that hard to live the way we are living and to cook the way we are cooking. I mean, hi.
Oh,
Hey,
hi.
you're back.
I'm sorry.
It's all
Either
right. Don't worry.
internet is off and I had to connect to the hotspot, but it took, yeah, I mean, it took
Okay.
forever.
Don't worry. You're fine.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. No, we're just talking about how much this kind of food or this scene is being more promoted and more well known in the country, and I think it is. I mean, media is a big thing, and
Yeah.
and we only work with Instagram, for example. Like, we only promote Cocina de Jardin on Instagram because it works, and that's how it's been building up, and it's
Yeah.
worked. But now there's things happening. I'll send you the program, the TV program. It's
Yeah.
very
Cool.
beautiful, actually. It's like it's proudly made here. Amazing. The people that we worked with, they came to a whole, like, they captured the whole event, the whole prep, the whole essence of Cocina Jardin in such a beautiful way. I'm like super honored.
Yeah, I was thinking when you guys were talking, even the way in which we live, experience a physical space in the middle of war and not feeling safe is so different. And it determines the ways in which we relate each other, we mingle or not. I mean, even with the pandemic, that happened too. So the moment that feeling of or the feeling of unsafeness is not there or is not the main thing, then you start to see other things and you start to, it's a moment to breathe in a different way.
Yeah. I see it even in, for example, our waiters that they live in very dangerous,
Yeah.
well, places that used to be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Their demeanor when they come to
Yeah.
work is different. Their vibe when
And
they're serving,
expressed.
they
Yeah.
don't have to leave fast because
Oh, yeah.
they're afraid. They can stay. They can enjoy. And that's, I'm just talking about 3 people, but I'm sure that's the way it, like,
Yeah, that's just an example of like,
it's an example.
No, but not that long ago, everywhere you went in San Salvador, you would have to let somebody know
Yeah.
that you were like leaving, that you were going out into the street to go to somewhere else. Like, just imagine the stress of that being lifted off of you.
Yeah.
Like, that changes so much in the way
So
people,
much.
just their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
it's
I know.
really,
It's kind of surreal. It's
Yeah.
surreal. I've never felt this safe. And I'm suspicious
Yeah.
of this feeling that I have of feeling safe. I'm like, should I really feel like, it's weird, but I do now. I walk in the everywhere. Like, it's crazy. Like, and
Yeah, it's in
you
the
actually
back of
do
your
feel
mind,
safe. Yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
Humanity is that amazing. We're so forgiving. I mean, we're so forgiving. We'll flourish so fast if we are given the chance,
the chance.
And Salvadorians especially are so resilient and so positive. I mean, we are so positive, so happy. Like, we're always happy and positive, that this changed so drastically, the vibe in the country.
Yeah, it's
We'll
just
see.
give us the chance. Give us the chance to
I just want to reiterate for people listening that this is in no way an endorsement of like
No,
the
of
government
nothing.
and
No, at
like
all.
how
No, no.
like the security
Independently of
situation was
political
changed.
postures,
We're just talking purely
Yeah.
about
yeah.
people's daily lives.
No, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned that because
Yeah.
I agree too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why I'm telling you we're all a little suspicious because
Yeah.
we love what's happening, but we're like, I don't know, we feel
Yeah, yeah.
a little weird about it.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
truth. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the truth. But on the other hand, we're flourishing, and that is something
Yeah.
that
Yeah, it's just like how people behave when there is a basic sense of safeness and
safeness. Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
independently
And
of
also,
political postures.
yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you for
Yeah,
mentioning
I just
that.
wanted to point that out because I know there's somebody out there listening like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
No, even I feel like we all
Yeah.
feel, torn in a way. But I mean, there's the reality of things too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else is going on in El Salvador? What new restaurants? Is there anyone else opened up lately?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but El Cholo is opening up a little bar.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes,
I haven't talked to them. Okay.
yes. They're opening up a bar, like a wine bar, I understood, called Gracia.
Okay.
Like Gracia. And it's going to be like their kind of food, but more of a tapas place with good wine and a very cool space that they're opening up. It's a little like strip mall sort of.
Yeah, okay.
But super
Cool.
close. They're opening up that space. And then Nomad Pizza is also opening another restaurant, I understood, like not only pizzas, but like a restaurant,
Okay.
which is super fun too because they're so talented as well.
Yeah, I went there the last time I was in town. It was great. Great
was
pizzas.
great.
Yeah.
Then let me think. There's this other place that opened called Hermano de Leche. They used to be a pop-up like ourselves. And they're really inspired by Peruvian ceviches, basically.
Okay.
So they're super fun, experimental, crazy, fun, and talented guys. And they opened up this tiny, tiny space, super funky and super like urban, with really good ceviches. Very good. And they're actually, I mean, I think they're going to be doing a lot of things very soon because they're very talented. What else? And then at the beach, that's booming. I mean, that is.
But has it spread beyond like the El Tunco bubble, or is it still kind of there?
El Tunco and El Sonte are, it's still sort of a bubble, but it's just getting more professional, I think. I mean, because El Tunco it's always been fun and great, but it's been a little crazy,
Yeah.
And I think and I hope it's just getting like more, manicured. Because I mean, it's still a tiny space, but La Libertad is definitely where everything's happening right now because it's our biggest tourism spot, so there's a lot of things happening there, for better or worse. But there's a lot happening there.
All right.
So I know I'm excited, and I wanted to tell you something else. I don't know if I ever told you, but I was at the MAD Academy like 2 years ago. Do you remember?
I think I remember.
Yeah. And I'm going to the symposium in 2 weeks.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
going back. So I'm super excited. And it's crazy because when I went to the MAD Academy, I went for the sustainability and course.
Yeah.
And I had just bought this Finca Sylvestris. I had just bought it.
Okay.
And I went there with this whole idea of, okay, so this is going to be the beginning of Finca Sylvestris. Now that we're open and we're like up and running, I'm going back, and I'm so excited because
are you going to share your experience of these 2 years there?
Well, I hope so. I have actually. We do have like an alumni group, and we're always sharing. And a bunch of my friends are going to be there. But there's so much happening there. I'm so excited to go back and to learn and to bring back so much. I mean, that for me was a pivot point. I mean, Finca Sylvestris and what we're doing now in terms of sustainability and ecology in the finca is from that course. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, everything at La Finca is as sustainable and ecological as possible. I mean, we're like solar panels, the way we gather rainwater to for our water system, composting. I mean, it like that. It's truly a nerdy ecological project. It is, and I'm so
Cool.
proud and so excited. And I'm so excited to go back and to keep learning
Yeah.
because there's obviously so much more to be learned and to bring back to the country. I mean, I shared a lot with my colleagues when I came back about like sustainability in the restaurants because it's such a big, so it's a sort. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, restaurants are really truly have a very negative impact in our
Yeah,
world.
totally. Of course they can.
Yeah. So changing
Huh.
that up is very exciting. So I'm so excited to go back. Yeah. I'll let you
Cool.
know what
Yeah,
happens
I want to
there.
hear how it goes.
And if you have any more recommendations, I'm always asking you of like restaurants and everything in
Oh,
Copenhagen.
I haven't been there in a while, to be honest. Like, you probably have a better idea than I do.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll give you recommendations then.
But
Okay.
if you stop in Prague,
Oh yeah, I was in Prague like a week ago.
Oh
This is
wow!
when-
No, I'm
Yeah.
only going there for like the 6
The
days.
conference
like,
and back,
Yeah,
yeah.
and back. Yeah.
All right, Maru, it's a pleasure hearing about all your new
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
all the
much.
new things in your life.
I would
And-
love to have you guys. You guys have to come down and
Yeah.
live it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point I'll be down. I want to check it out.
You have to.
Yeah,
I think
me
it's
too.
it's a very cool moment to be here. It is. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. This was
Thank you.
Thanks
very
to you.
beautiful.
Thank you for sharing all this. Really, it's
Thank
very
you.
inspiring for us too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.